Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers in association with Elie Spirits. I'm Matty.
Hello, Colin.
Good evening, I'm John.
How are you doing, Colin? Fresh off the kilt walk tonight. You did the full 26 miles. How are the old feet?
It's not 26, it just fucking feels like 26. It's 20.6 or 21.6
right.
or something. It's not a full marathon. Although it fucking feels like it. And I'm not fresh. That's what I would say. I'm fucking knackered. Absolutely knackered.
John,
that's.
how much did you raise?
Oh, it was 750 quid or something. I think I'll hopefully get that doubled as well through my work. Like, I'll hopefully map chip, I think. So I think it was just for the community foundation that I raised it. There was thing they had to do a minimal amount for patients team. But we got well fixed the amount we get actually. So I had some specific ish. Still open if anyone wants to add into it as well, fine.
And the links on our profile somewhere as well. You'll be able to find it on our previous tweets.
Yeah.
And John, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. It's been an action-packed day. I had a spin class this morning and I was playing a wee bit of golf this afternoon. Here I am.
Excellent. I did fuck all today. Really watched football. That's it. Went up to the shop.
That's really what Sundays are for. It's the Sabbath. It's the day of rest.
Good. Bacon rolls and everything this morning for breakfast. I made them. Like, I didn't get them made for me, but that was about the extent of the effort. Been a no bad day, to be fair. Right, before we get into the episode, we've got a competition that we're launching. This is thanks to Elie Spirits. They've very kindly put up a signed third strip, Hibernian third strip, signed by the current squad as well. It's the green and purple striped strip. So we will draw this next Sunday night. We'll draw it when we record the episode. To enter, all you need to do is be an active member on our Patreon site. So you go to Patreon, search for Longbangers. You can sign up. You don't have to spend any money. You can get a free trial 7 days, which will last you up to the end of the competition. Obviously, we'd love to see you stick around and subscribe. But everybody who is on our Patreon platform, next Sunday will be in the competition. And if you're already a YouTube member or you sign up on YouTube to be a YouTube member, we'll include you in the competition there as well. So look out for that great prize signed by the first team squad. Could be signed by anybody. You ever seen a signed shirt? And you try to figure out who signed them.
I've got one up the stair. You just don't know. It's in years to come. You just go, who's that again? Who's that? And if they didn't put their number, you're fucked.
Aye, it's all right if they've got the number on it. So if you're a player and you're listening and you're signing it, stick your number down as well so we can identify you at a later date. Right, let's get stuck into the game. We got our first league win of the season. David Gray's first league win as permanent head coach. This is the starting lineup. John, I'll give it to you first thing. So we had Bursic, Ekpateta, O'Hara, who was captain in Julio's absence. Youan, Cadden, Kwon, Cadden again, Obita, Triatnis, Bolotnikov, and Kukorevic. What do you think of the starting lineup when you saw it?
I was quite intrigued because Colin was grilling me beforehand after I dropped Joe Newell in my fan hub lineup, and I think when I looked at it earlier on today, I had 10 players out the 11.
Did you? Decent effort,
yeah.
Right?
So it was interesting because obviously like the two main absentees were Joe Newell and Martin Boyle. Obviously Martin Boyle was on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the story was with Joe Newell, but I was fortunate enough to be in the West stand up or just in front of the press seats, and there was a wee bank of Hibs players over to my left. So Joe Newell was over there. So I think there was a rumour actually that he'd been getting surgery, but he looked fine. Like he was in his tracksuit and that. Dwight Gale was there, Luke Ramos was there. I think there was a few other players kicking about, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. But I mean, I think I think folk had been asking for Boyle not necessarily to be dropped in previous weeks, but certainly questioning his contribution a wee bit. And I think overall we actually saw his impact as an impact sub late in the game. Like he definitely showed us. It gave it that cliche, giving the manager a headache for next week, because it's like, oh, if fucking drop me, I'll go and show you. Well, fine, like come and go and show us next week.
The game next week.
Sorry, no, you're right. It's the week after because it's League Cup next week. Someone's already reminded me. It's Sunday night. He's a break.
I know. So it stopped the season. It was Boyle you had drawn with Youan, was yeah. Other than that, that's a good effort. Like,
well, what were you calling? What were your thoughts on this team?
Well, I was surprised in Newell being out because as much as John dropped him, I don't think he knew he was injured or had the hernia. Was it hernia or
hernia? Yes, I believe.
Was it an operation?
He did the 5 mile kill walk, so he must be all right.
I wonder if that's part of his club sanctioned rehab. Go out for a stroll.
For a wee wonder. But no, other than that, I don't think I got. I think I got quite a few of them right as well. I got the back 5 right. I got the part between Newell in the midfield, and Youan. I must have got 9 or 10 right as well. So I had Molotnikov out in the right and Newell in the middle. Obviously, Youan started out there. I didn't think he would start. I knew he was available, but I thought he would be on the bench. But obviously they gave them 4 or 5 minutes each or whatever it was. So I was surprised just because I hadn't heard he was injured. Otherwise I wouldn't have picked. John obviously had the inside info.
Well done, John.
Blind luck.
I quite liked the team when I saw it. I liked that there's a bit of consistent spine there that we're starting to see develop. So Bursic, obviously we're no swapping the goalkeeper out, but our 2 centre halves are consistent. Kwon and Triantis as a centre 2, consistent, and obviously Kukurovic with Bowie being injured with Scotland, that was like he was always going to start there because I don't think that Gale's ready to start games yet. So I'm quite happy that we've got a sort of consistent spine, and I would expect that to sort of be the spine of the team for the foreseeable future, I would think. Only really changing the players round about them. We'll go on to the game itself. Right, I'll take that off the screen. I'll bring these back full screen.
Did you get? I can't remember.
I did. I shared mine on Twitter, and I think I was probably. I can't remember if I took a picture of it. I wasn't far off. I didn't have Youan, I don't think. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Like, it was on Twitter. If anybody wants to go and have a look at it, it wasn't miles off because the actual team itself isn't really that much of a surprise. Really, it almost bar a few positions now. It almost picks itself. The game itself, John. I suppose we'll get into like all the meat and bones it through the talking points, which we'll come on to once we've sort of summarised. But if you were to summarise your thoughts in the game, what were they?
First half wasn't up too much. St Johnstone surprised me with how open they were in comparison to what I've seen from them previously. I think their fullback was causing us a wee bit of bother. Like their number 3. Don't know what his name is, unfortunately. Second half, like I thought the first half was a good exercise in Hibs being under a bit of pressure and absorbing it and not succumbing to it. Second half, I thought we definitely began to express ourselves a bit more. Like I thought we got fortunate with Kaharovic's goal at the end of the first half. Second half, thought we were the better team. And it was nice to get the goal when we did, because I think we were starting to get very, very close to that sort of like nervy period. So we got the second goal. It was kind of like, well, we can relax a wee bit now, put our feet up.
I think that's probably a fair summary. The first half was pretty much a non-event, wasn't it? It was like a proper slugfest. There wasn't much football played. It was interesting. Levine in his post-match interview sort of talked about how well he thought his team had played in the first half, and I think that sums it up. Like his team, the way and Levine's always set up his teams like that, to stop the other team playing before thinking about doing anything themselves. And although St Johnstone had wee spells in the first half where they had us on the back foot, but I thought we were pretty comfortable and we just never really threatened them at all. It was just
the same last season.
Yeah,
when they won at the end of the season, before the split, or was it just after the split? when they came and beat us, remember it was like, you go, how did they know if we're taking that chance? And that's what we said on the phone in last week. If we can get an early goal, it wasn't that early, but it was, first half still.
First half.
They'll not have that pucks their game plan. Because their game plan is 0-0, frustrate, and sneak one. We'll get a free kick, we'll get a corner. We'll see what we can get. That's him fucked. Because plan B is, fuck knows. What do we do next?
Yeah. Levine's given up, eh? I commented on Twitter that he looked like he'd just come straight for his fucking kip. And I think he's just be like, fucking, I'm the bored these days.
The beard's off now, though, he's neat and tidy.
Was it? I never noticed that. Only saw him for the back, really. John, he must have been within throwing distance of your seat. Were you tempted?
No. What, to throw myself at him?
Not yourself,
or something.
I like how they call it a missile, eh? Whatever you throw turns into a missile at the football. It's like whether it's a scrunched up bit of paper or a pie, it's a missile. Were you tempted to throw any kind of missile at them?
No, I've never thrown anything at the football, and I think if I had anything to throw yesterday, I wouldn't have wasted it on Craig Levine.
On the pies, Josh went to the kiosk in the West Upper, and they've got the price list up on the above the kiosk. And he's like, I'm going to get one of the deals, but it doesn't tell you what's in it. So he asked behind the counter, and he says, "What'd you get at the meal deal?" And Lassie says it's a pie and a drink. And Josh says, "But that's like £7. It's cheaper to buy them separate." He said, "Is it?" He goes, "Aye." She says, "I don't care what's in it then." She says, "Do you want a bar of chocolate?" He says, "Aye, all right." She gave my dairy milk.
Surely you may get chips or something.
I think they did chips up in the West Upper.
Oh, you said that before.
Aye, see, you only get them in
the
West Lower.
Still chips through the stadium, but not in that bit.
Aye,
like man.
I don't care.
I gave one about something else.
I know, but I thought it was funny how they're just like, I'll just have a bar of chocolate. We'll chuck that in. So he ended up quite happy with the deal. Right. I'm glad you never threw anything, George. Throwing stuff in the football is bad. It's a mugs game. I'll get you a ban. So only do it when we're really shite, and then you've got a good reason not to go to the game. Aye, because you didn't want a ban for it. Colin, what did you think of the game?
Well, I wasn't at the game. I'll be honest with that. My daughter was playing at the same time through it. Ibrox community thing, stadium. So didn't see it. Seen the highlights and read about it. So it did look just what I've read, just what John said. Like the first half, not very much happened. Scrappy goal, like to get the goal, but you know what? So what? Like won enough times about no scoring. So and after that, the second goal was a cracker.
Aye, really good.
See Boyle flat out like that again. And he's been like, you wonder if this is just a wee kick of the arse, but because people were saying he's lost his pace, and I think I said, has he? Or has he lost his pace, or is it just because he looked good in pre-season, but then you go, well, is that because he's against part-timers? But then I don't know, maybe St Johnstone boys.
I think we've not played it. Do you know, like when we had Monty last season, he was deep in taking the ball to feet. Boyle needs the ball played like that, where he can go fucking past somebody. Aye,
it's been second time back at the bucket, like when he was good, right? Mickey Stewart and Scott Brown and that kicked the ball in front of him. As Stephen McGinn said the other last night, feed the grass. That's what he said. Right. Whereas you watched it last night, when you watched the same as when Sproul came back, he would pass the ball at his feet and he would do that, jumping about the ball and try and find the gap to go and run. And you know, somebody needs to kick the ball in front of him and fucking chase it. That's where he's dangerous. That's where he's at his best.
Yep.
Well, maybe we've stumbled on that again.
Aye. I was really happy with the second half performance. First half, I think you go as a war of attrition. It was good to get the goal. I was actually speaking to a guy in the train on the way back. There wasn't like loads of seats. As it happened, I sat to a wee table at Highby's and was talking to the guy and was saying it's good to see us just get like a Route 1 goal. Like it was just like a launch into the box, get a knockdown, and have a striker that can turn it in. That was it. There's no clever stuff about it at all. It was just like a quality ball into the box. Ekpateta did well to win the first header, and Kukovic was alert to it. So it was just refreshing because we weren't scoring other ways in that half. So it was good to take advantage of just like a sort of proper basic way of scoring.
As much as we're saying it was a war of attrition, like, are we doing Hibs a wee bit of the service? Because I think Quan's had one that's just gone wide of the post. They'll look closer in the replay than it did in the stadium. Kaharovic, I'm sure, has had one that's taken a deflection that's gone out for a corner. So we have had a couple of chances there. I think that's reflected in the fact that we've had 17 shots on goal.
Mhm.
Not all of them were on target, obviously.
I mean, I don't think it's a disservice. Like overall, those were a couple of glimpses in a first half that was pretty poor, John. I would still stick to the original point with it. I do get that we created a couple, but they weren't like glaring obvious chances. I mean, Quan's one's outside the box. Kukrevic's one, I can't really remember that, but Cadden had one right at the start, didn't he? That he put wide when he picked the ball up. Molotov has played him in, and he's knocked it wide. That was a decent chance. But I think if you look at the first half compared to the second half performance, it was night and day. We were much better. Obviously, the game's a bit opened up by then, but I thought the second half was really entertaining. I thought we played some good stuff. If we'd scored 4 in that second half, I think St Johnstone would have complained because, again, Quan's got a great chance that he's skied. Kukrevich puts one over the bar that he should score. Boyle rolls one just by the post, and then we get a goal in there as well. So,
just looking at the stats, there's 4 shots on target. I know John 17, like he says, but 4 on target. The possession stats were quite even. Like, and that make how many games have you watched over the last couple of years where you go, fucking 65, 68% possession and we lost 1-0? Like, it's 51.8 to 48.2. So they've had that ball as much as us. That might just be because of the style of play, and we're saying, hey, fuck it, just get it and get it forward. Which, well, it worked there.
I thought St Johnstone got on the ball more than us in the first half. I thought we were quite wasteful with our passing, and we gave it away a lot. St Johnstone kept it a bit better in the first half, but again, they didn't really trouble us, I did think. Like, I was never really thinking that they were going to score.
I thought what you were saying there about being wasteful was pretty accurate when it came to the balls that we were trying to give to you, Brad. There was a couple of murmurs around me that they thought that he maybe looked disinterested. I thought, I don't think that's fair at all. I thought that I don't think we really got the ball to feet, or as Colin said with regards to Boyle, we never really got the ball in front of him to run into. It was always just a wee bit short, a wee bit to the left, and a wee bit to the right of him.
I thought Youan looked like he couldn't be arsed, if I'm honest with you. I genuinely did. Like, there was a couple of times where, do you mind he got pelters one time for a ball getting past him and he just let it go out the park?
It's a Mirren last year.
Aye, so that didn't happen, but there was times where it was just about those sort of levels where you were like, he's got more in his tank than he's shown. But first came back, and he's maybe needs to kind of get back up to speed. It's also a different pace playing a competitive game than it is like a friendly. Although Junior Hoilett second half blows that theory out of the water because he was like he had I don't know, 2 or 3 times the impact that Youan did in that 45 minutes that he was on the park. So I don't know. Like I rate Youan. I'm no here to sort of dig him out or anything, but I thought he was lucky.
Some love.
I thought he was lucky at the last till half time before he got taken off. Genuinely, I was like, he was a man short.
Good nail. That would have caused absolute.
Of course it would have. Like, I thought 45 minutes, he was always going to see it. But I think if the situation was different with Youan and he was playing like that, he would have been hooked much earlier. But that's not to say that I've written him off or that I didn't want him in the team or nothing like that. I think Youan on his days is our best player. So I just hope.
How astute do you think it was of David Gray if it was by design that he got 45 minutes into Youan and 45 minutes into Hoilett?
How astute do I think it was? I tell you what, I thought was really astute that he did it in the order that he did. So he gave Youan the first half and Hoilett the second half because really that's where you want to have the impact when you're into the sort of the championship rounds, if you like, when the minutes really count, and Hoilett took advantage, and really he not necessarily on his own, but I thought Hoilett changed the game in our favour massively. The goal changed the game, going in 1-0 at half time, but then St Johnstone couldn't attack the way they wanted to because of the way that Hoilett was playing. He had them on toast. So I would give Gray credit for doing it in order that he did, and 45 minutes each was fine. Does that answer your question, John?
Absolutely. I didn't have any follow-ups.
Good news. Right, we'll jump onto the talking points. Michael Donachie is the first one who he just said Junior Hoilett is a baller. So John, that was our first look in the flesh at Hoilett. What were your impressions of him?
Really pleasantly surprised. I don't remember him playing for Aberdeen, so I didn't have any sort of preconceptions. I didn't have any preconceptions about his quality. The preconceptions I had were around his age and some of the stuff that came out of Hibs. However, I thought we got a really good insight into the quality that he's going to bring to the Hibs game. So you'd mentioned that he changed the game in Hibs' favour. He was certainly instrumental in some of the stuff that Hibs were doing second half, and it was quite surprising to see a player, I think, of that quality have, because I think one of the things that we've been talking about for a while is to have a player that can, like the old sort of fashion sayings of like put the fit in the ball and dictate the pace of the game. Like, he was able to make little triangles with a number of different players to feed them the ball, to take the return ball and kind of like just absorb some pressure and open up some space in front of them. I think what was also really pleasantly surprising for me as well, having seen him in the flesh, he's not a big guy.
Is it?
However, there was one attack that Hibs had in the second half where he's held off the St Johnstone defender, and the boy must have had at least a foot and a half on him. And he seemed to have the strength of someone much larger, and that was pretty impressive. So it's not just the skill; he's got a bit of grit about him as well.
Aye, Colin, I'm not sure how much you would have been able to tell for the highlights about the impact that he had.
I've read a lot about how good he was, but I think an interesting thing about him is like when he was at Aberdeen, like the fans really liked him up there, and he's not like, it doesn't appear like he's a sort of show pony type player, because they were in relegation trouble, weren't they, at the end of last season for a while, and he was obviously playing all the games and all the minutes. So it's not like us with Marcondes, when we're like, right, fuck it, we'll just leave him out there now because he's got to do some fancy tricks, but he's not got to dig in. Well, Hoilett was playing all their minutes when they were in worse relegation trouble. We weren't in relegation trouble.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite a good sign there for that point of view.
I'm going to put the next talking point up on the screen. I might keep them up actually. Just go through them.
Might we used to do that, eh?
Aye, I know. So the next one's for Jake Gapper. So what's everyone's thoughts on the new form feature on the live score app? Quite a good addition in my view. And he's just done like a wee screenshot there. He's picked the 12th place team, and it's like draw and 4 losses. They look quite shit. I can't make out what the wee badges there for the 12th place team. But there's COD Bunny, so it's better when you look at it with this view as well. I mean, there you go. Well, look, it is. I can see who the bottom team is now. We'll not mention them on here. It's not us. Aye, very good. I'm going to go back. Oh no, here we go. Right, Jez says, felt like we were very poor in the first half, giving them a lot of possession, but looking back on it, we're still creating chances in the first, which is pleasing. 17 shots on goal overall. Felt like Hoilett provided a creative influence we've been missing for a couple of years. John, did it feel like a game where we had 17 shots at goal?
I'll be honest, I can't remember the 17 efforts, but I think the ones that I described already, especially the one that Quan shaped up for and managed to just about clear the famous 5. I know.
The BBC, they split them up, the 17, so 4 on target, 9 off target, and 4 blocked shots. Blocked shots are the ones I used to forget about. You know, like and it's like just somebody gets in the way, like 20 yards out, sort of thing. But that's what the breakdown was at that 17. 9 off target and 4 blocked.
I don't know what the numbers were for St Johnstone, but for what we were saying about, they had 5 shots in total. So, like, as much as we were saying that they put us under a bit of pressure, they didn't really put the goal under pressure. Like, I don't remember Bullsight having a proper save to make. Like, I think he's had to come for a couple of corners, and I think he's held one. I think he's punched another.
So they had 1 shot on target, and they've always had 1 save, because the BBC now break that down. So I'm assuming that's it. Like,
there's a shot for outside the box in the first half, but I think it was Nicky Clark hit And pretty comfortable save for Bursnick in the end.
It'll be that one, yeah.
I didn't realise he was still playing that, Nicky Clark. He's been around for ages, eh?
Yeah.
Alright, Vince Robinson said, solid defence and a hard-working midfield. Thanks for setting up a nice weekend. Look up time. Hope Sir David Gray has a lovely bottle of red to enjoy tonight.
Okay. You should have said Vince stays in America, doesn't he? And he's writing defence with an S, so it should be defence. You say there rather than.
All right, sorry about that, Vince. Sorry, everybody.
Defence.
Right, on the defence, what to talk about Marvin Ekpiteta. So Ekpiteta got off to a shaky start, it's fair to say. A couple of big mistakes that cost us goals. Since then, well, I don't know if feed the answer to you, but Colin, how do you think he's doing now?
Well, I think like he just needs to, and I've said this, he needs to find his feet in the league, and let's not have the expectation we're going to be thinking about at the back, and like centre half's going to be standing on the byline waiting on the goalie playing the boy and all that. So that's not what his strengths were. So presumably that's not what we bought him for. But I do see there's one there for you and McAleese, and I think I read it. I can't remember if it was Twitter on hibs.net today, but folks saying the defence still looks shaky despite us having a clean sheet. So I suppose my question to you is: did the defence look shaky when we got a clean sheet? Like, did it? They had one shot on target, but did we look like we were going to lose a goal? I'm quite comfortable with him there. I was quite comfortable with O'Hara being the captain and Newell's absence as well. I think they could, if we play to their strengths rather than trying to play like fucking Monty Ball, then we'll be all right. But I don't know.
Well, what do you think, John? Was the defence still shaky?
I didn't get that impression at all yesterday. I was actually going to give Beta a bit of praise because I thought that he had a completely different game from what we'd seen in the last sort of 4 or 5. I thought his contribution yesterday was really valuable. Not so much going forward, but definitely in defence. Cadden was fine at right back. One of our listeners, Jeff Ashton, had described Big Marv as imperious. I had to go and look that up. I think is it dominant and arrogant? I think it was. So I can't remember the exact definition, but I'm pretty sure it was.
It's like when they say cynical, Phil, when you go, cynical, does cynical mean? Or does cynical mean? Because I always thought cynical meant something else until you heard football commentators talking about it. It's just like a football word there. Never used in any other industry.
I didn't think that in the centre of defence, because I think that, well, I was going to say that I thought that the centre of defence was maybe the one that was coming with the most criticism, but obviously I mentioned the Beta there, so that's not quite true. But I thought Ekpiteta was absolutely fine. I actually thought he had probably more of a game like we saw against, I think it was Peterhead, where he was really relaxed, but we tried to caveat that with, well, that's the sort of opposition that he was up against. But I thought he was absolutely fine yesterday. I thought he did have a very interesting tumble towards the east stand. I think he came under a challenge. He's maybe tried to go for the Ryan Porteous or Stephen Presley flop. And I think maybe because his height, it looked a little bit more awkward than it actually meant to be. And O'Hara was fine. Like, there's not like, I don't, so you could call out Martin Boyle yesterday because his contribution in the goal, and he's had the shot that's just gone wide in the post, and you've got those like sort of moments that you would attribute to him because he's an attacker. But I don't remember anything from the defence with the exception of Beta because he was down my line, down my side in the second half. But I thought, you've done poorly there, or you've done really well. Like, they just kind of strolled through the game, which is maybe because you had Kwon and Triantis in front of them. You had that kind of first line of defence in front of them. Like, so if that was really broken down, then you've got them to mop up behind him.
I thought where the nervousness comes from is historic. I think because we're used to seeing a bit of nervousness in the Hibs defence, that there's always going to be times like that, at this level, we're never going to really have a game where the opposition doesn't get a chance or a couple of chances in the game, right? That's how football works. But and I think we are that used to, over recent times, being like, oh fucking hell, this is going to be a goal. That you have a sort of nervousness, but I didn't ever think we were conceding. Yes, I didn't think we looked shaky. I thought St Johnstone tried to attack us. They tried lumping the ball into the box, and Ekpiteta won virtually everything that came in. He headed or kicked away, and if it wasn't him, it was O'Hora. But even when they tried to get down the sides, I thought we coped with the wing play. Like you said, John, you mentioned the number 3. The left back causing it was a bit of a problem, and I think he did maybe for the first 15-20 minutes, but we got a handle on him, and then I didn't really think it caused us that much bother at all after that. I actually thought the defence was one of the highlights yesterday, and the clean sheet was well deserved. That was my take on it.
I think it's a kind of like people looking for it then, like the shakiness.
I think
the sports thing. I was listening to sports thing earlier as well for yesterday, and I'm sure that was maybe mentioned, but I don't know if it was the Hibs fan that was on, or if it was the pundits in the studio. I can't remember. I'm sure it was mentioned there as well, and that's where I was like, I was going to ask that because obviously I didn't see an awful lot of it, and then I've seen there's a talking point on there, and then as well as what I've seen in red, so I was like, interested in something about one shot on target, which is that one for distance, it wasn't causing any bother, and yet we're saying it was shaky defence. Like, just seems a bit we'll be looking for it rather than it actually being the case.
That's what I think is the case. I think we're used to seeing it, and we're used to having those doubts about the defence. So when teams attack, which they will do, you put it down to a shaky defence rather than just football. Because, like you say, Colin, you've been the stats back up. If we'd had 4 or 5 shots against us or on target, then that makes it look like the defence has not had a good game. But if you limited them to 1 shot on target in 90 minutes, then that's pretty good going.
From about 25 yards as well, wasn't it? Even like, you know.
And even like I was trying to think of other instances. There was one where Bursic had to kind of look quite smart and come out to dive at the boy's feet. But I thought we had that situation covered as well. I think it might be like Ekpiteta as well, the boys tried to dribble through and he got his body in front of him, and the keeper came out and just collected it and dealt with the situation. I just thought overall, and actually I would take a wee moment to talk about Bursic, because his decision making with high balls, and I say what jinx him, but is very good. So he'll catch the ball, which isn't usual for a goalkeeper. But if the catch is on, he catches it, and if it's no on, he's got a good punch on him. So I think he looked better yesterday as well, albeit without really being tested. Chris said that's what we wanted, a nice confidence builder, 2 goals, clean sheet, and washed down with a large dose of look who's bottom. Colin, one of the things that David Gray mentioned in his post-match was that we're now, it was like three games unbeaten, 4 games unbeaten, whatever it was, and almost you could hear him try to change that narrative to being like, we've conceded like goals, so it feels like we've lost them, but actually we've not lost them, and we're in a no bad place really for how the form's going. How much confidence can the team take from that win?
Oh, a lot. Like, that's what we've been waiting on, isn't it? To now go on a wee run. Hopefully, I don't know who we're playing next, but like, you know, that it's Rangers, isn't it?
Rangers away.
But you know, you kind of want to. You know, that's the thing, right? We threw the points away in the games. We were in the lead, and we lost that. If we had won the games like we could and should have, we're third. And you know what? And my heart, like, with no mentioning them, right? But Hearts are bottom. That helps with the positivity.
100%.
As much as the boss only 5 games, and you know they've played Celtic and Rangers, and they 5, but they're bottom of the league and we're above them. Like, not just 1 game different either. You know, so there's a couple for them to overtake us. So that helps everybody's positivity. So I think he's right to flip it and say we're unbeaten in 3. I think it was the interview I heard anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how you make people positive. Like, we'll go to the other extreme, of course. Like, we'll start talking about fucking finishing second in that next. But like, that's the
right. Well, no.
There is a balance. There is a balance. But there's no harm in being positive about it, because we've not lost in 3. It feels like we have, but we've not.
It's really fine margins. I was having this conversation on I think I mentioned it maybe earlier in the WhatsApp group that we're in as well, but if you couldn't contrast us with Aberdeen have played shite in a good few games and have managed to get a really late goal.
They are fucking
unreal.
Unbearable.
Unreal,
yeah.
So they're talking about fucking finishing second and all the rest of it, but that'll no last. Like, you can't keep going. Same as we'll always keep losing a late goal. And we saw it ourselves because we did it, but it was last season or the season before, Lee Johnson had a rerun where we were scoring late and we were talking about the character of the team and that's about the fitness and all the rest of it. And then actually what happens is you stop getting them and you just realise you were just kind of quite lucky in those games to get them. So I imagine Aberdeen's bubble will burst soon and you can see ours turning around. But it is that those fine margins. We didn't concede 2 late goals and we're right in the mix and everybody's talking about how good a job David Gray's doing. So I'm all for a bit of positivity with it. Neil Waters, John, I'll let you take this one. Right? He says, Kwon was class. Him and Jantas give us so much composure on the ball. Subs a different second half, making an impact for the bench, which we haven't had for a long time. A clean sheet, well deserved for a defence that's been much criticised. All round positive signs again.
Subs, the different second half is probably a really good one to delve into, because it started with Hoilett, and then you've had Josh Campbell, and I forget who else has come on. But Josh Campbell's had a really good second half performance. Hoilett, we've already described, has had a really good second half performance. And I think we touched it earlier when I asked you how astute you thought David Gray was. It was interesting because, like, to go back to Colin's point about are people looking for certain things, when I was in the bar after the game, someone had said that they weren't sure that about the timing of the substitutions. And I thought, but they worked. Like, we won 2-0. Like, it was absolutely
wrong with the timing of the substitutions? Like,
we never really pressed on it too much. I just thought it was just an interesting observation. I forget. Oh, sorry. So I thought there was one thing as well, and I think it might have been when it was Martin Boyle's goal where Cadden's played it through for him. In fact, no, it can't have been, because did Lewis Miller replace Cadden?
Yeah, but Cadden played the pass for Boyle's goal.
Yeah, I think there must have been a later chance where Martin Boyle was running through, because I saw Lewis Miller thundering forward, like showing all the athleticism that I think we've given him praise for before. So the subs definitely made a big difference for a second half. I don't think that is necessarily to suggest that had we played with that team in the starting 11, that the first half would have been any different. But I think perhaps with the game going the way that we saw in the first half, you could argue, I think, that David Gray saw that there's opportunities to make changes there. There's players there that can make the difference. He's put them on. They've won the game.
On that, Colin, we're starting to see a wee bit more like the players coming back for injury. So obviously Bowie and Newell were missing on Saturday. But having that stronger bench, like Youan, Hoilett, Boyle on the bench, Miller on the bench, Josh Campbell as well, who, like, if you take yourself back to pre-season, Josh Campbell was getting talked about as like the pivotal player, or one of the pivotal players in the midfield, and actually is nowhere near a start at the moment. Does that sort of speak to it not really being a coincidence that our form's got a bit better as players have got back available and the squad's improved?
Aye, possibly. A lot of them are just coming back, so it's positive. Like, that's something to look forward to when they are fit. Because at the moment, like, they're getting 45 minutes each because they've not played their ages. It's a wee bit pre-season about that, You know, taking them 45 minutes each. So when you've got available, you've got Boyle going, fuck, my arse is through the windy here as well. He's coming back. Still got Malotnikov kicking about the team as well, which is good. So obviously that gets folk on board, like positivity, having a laddie, you know, like, come through the ranks and all that. I think I don't think there's any doubt that after the window, like, we've got a stronger squad than we had before. Didn't we ask that question maybe extra time last week, 2 weeks? And I think we got there in the end. We went, we think it's a stronger squad, but when you look at the bench now, you know, you wouldn't have, there's no many of them you're thinking they're just filling a seat. There's still the odd one or two, but you know what I mean? That they're actually, they could all come on and make an impact at most of them.
Aye. Pablo says 3-5-2 or 4-4-2 at home would make a huge difference. The first half was as bad as anything I've seen this season. How much she's reading it from? I mean, we never really kind of get hung up on the formations on this podcast, did we? But
I'm not sure. Like, it's the two up front thing that people are wanting, but we're kind of playing three, aren't we? When you do the one that's one through the middle, but the two wide guys are meant to be attacking. If you've got Youan on one side and Boyle or Hoilett or whoever on the other, that's a front three.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking a bit come back as well, though. You know, I don't think I don't know. Fuck, we hung up. We went 4 for 2 last year if we can head it.
This is true. The other conversation I had post match yesterday, but it was about the need to have the two sort of sitting midfielders when you're playing St Johnstone at home, and you had that kind of contrast in performance. And actually, I think the second half showed that it's no problem to play Juan and Shantis together because we attacked well in the second half. And I think the formation is less important than the way that we play. I think the issue that we had in the first half is we were trying to ping in long balls like loads of time. It's like we're not want to pass it out for the back, so we've gone to the other extreme of just like shelling it. And in the second half, we kind of found the happy medium where it was like, right, well, we could be direct without necessarily having to go long ball with it. And I think that having that part right is more important than the formation.
Do you know though, right, that having the two sort of more defensive-minded guys in the middle, I get out of St Johnstone at home, it's a wee bit snobby, right? Like, but to say that, but we've not let a goal in. We've let one shot on target for fucking 25 yards. Maybe that's because we had two in there that we're now saying, oh, we didn't really need two in there. Well, maybe we did. Maybe that's why we won 2-0.
And like we said earlier, if we'd scored 4 in that second half, it wouldn't have flattered us. So it's no stopping us creating chances.
Maybe it's like, oh, well, just drop him because it's just St Johnstone. Like, well, it's working. This solution is working. The fence has got more protection in front of it. They're not breaking the lines and all that shit. And then there's fucking straight one-on-one with a centre half. They've got more people to go through, and it's worked.
SDG, who's at Highby Pessimist, said very happy with the second half performance. Quan and Chantis forming a formidable partnership. Hope with increased confidence we can look to start home games with more impetus and intent, as too often over the past few years first half drift by and we struggle to impose ourselves. John, what is it about the Quan and Chantis partnership that you think is working?
Fuck. I think you're asking the wrong guy. I think I couldn't pinpoint anything technically about the two of them. I think there's maybe arguably Chantis, I think, is maybe the slightly more expansive footballer. Like, I think we saw that when he moved out of defence last season, and we saw like a wee glimmer of it in the game against Kilmarnock, where he was quite happy getting forward. And I think so as much as a player is like this sort of two defensive-minded players, like there's a player there that's willing to step forward and support the attack as well. However, as I mentioned previously, Quan's had a shot for the edge of the box, so he's no stranger to getting forward as well. So it might be that the partnership is just simply something as simple as knowing when to stick and when to twist. Like when one's allowed to kind of have the freedom to go forward and the other one kind of tucks in and does their job in that role. I don't know. I'd put that back to the listeners, to be honest, like and people that are a bit more football savvy than me, perhaps freelance podcaster Dave Graham can comment on it, because I know he's very interested in the tactical side of the game.
Dave Thompson calling says, do you think it's written in the stars that Hearts get their first win of the season at Easter Road, or can we write Naismith's P45? Do you think he'll last as long as the first half of the season if they keep going the way they're going?
How many games is that away?
Is it in October that we play that?
I can't be that many, because
no international breaks and fucking League Cup breaks. You know?
It is October that we play them, but
I think that's I know Dave, right, but that's Hibs fans being negative, looking for like, oh, we'll lose the derby, like, and we've done a whole episode on it. We need to turn this fucking narrative around. Like, let's start fucking beating them this season.
And he's got two sides to it, to be fair to Dave. It's like, either are they going to get the first win, or are we going to get them sacked?
Right, sacked.
Good, right.
I hope obviously it doesn't happen at Easter Road. However, there is that little bit of me that wants them to win a game a little bit further, so that gives them a little bit of hope, and then they start kind of like middling out again, so that they just have a bit of a mediocre, or sort of less than mediocre season. So yesterday, when I saw the result, when I saw the score, I think at half time it was 0-0. I'm thinking that's not the worst result in the world if it was to stay like that, because it might give Naismith a little bit longer in the job just to continue to have a bit of shite. To continue to be a bit shite. The other thing I was going to say was, with regards to them, is it's curious how quickly things can turn around. Because last season they could do no wrong. Him and Shanklin could do no wrong, and then so far this season they can't get anything fucking right.
Long may it continue.
Love it.
Paul Clitheroe said, it seems like David prefers the 4-2-3-1 formation. With this in mind, we now have some good options in midfield and up front now. The subs all made an impact. I was really wanting Youan to be on it yesterday, but sadly he was a huge disappointment. I gutted about the Bowie injury. I'm pleased for Sir David Gray to get that first league win under his belt and to keep a clean sheet. The first half wasn't great, as we weren't posing too much of a threat. Hopefully the second half was better, with the Chris Cadden pass and Boyle finish being well worked for the second. However, the second half was better, not hopefully. That pass from Cadden to Boyle, Golan, we kind of mentioned it before. Had a whiff of the Scott Allen about it.
I wouldn't put it up in that levels. Like, I thought it was a good ball, and it was in front of Boyle, and I let him run on it, but it wasn't like a reverse pass or anything. He picked the ball up, done well, and he put a nice ball up front of
Just going to put collar on mute, John.
Well, can I offer an alternative view on that?
Of course you can.
Which is that, if you remember a goal that Martin Boyle scored against Aberdeen, where Scott Allen played a slightly reverse pass from not to the similar area, Martin Boyle's come off the wing, and I think he's kind of finished it quite similarly. Like, kind of clipped it over the keeper. That's what it reminded me of yesterday. I think Scott Allen's might have been. So it's one of those.
Cadden's was the
Cadden's was the no. But I think the similarity was that there's just been that almost like telepathic little bit of body language that says, "I'm going to just put the ball in his face."
I'm not. It was a good ball. I like Cadden there better than Miller as well. It was a good ball. It was in front of him, feet to grass, like, which I hadn't heard before. I'm repeating it again.
I repeated it last night after he said it as well. I was like,
I'm going to try and never use it.
I keep that. So it was good, but it was just a good bit of play. It wasn't like one of the Scott Allen ones where he's looking the other way and fucking looking inside or anything. Like, let's not go overboard. It's a good ball.
Do you know that what I thought was good was that he finished it himself, because Kaharovic is thundered through there. He's looking for acres. He's in acres of space. I'm thinking, you're going to square it. You're going to square it. No, confident as you like.
I know. It is the option though. He'll go fucking mental. I'd go mental if I seen it. I mean, fucking, he's got to square it. Then I knew he scored when I watched it. Like, it wasn't like as you know, fucking hell, he's open. Like, square it.
That's one where everybody goes fucking mental if he misses, but it was a cracking finish. What I liked is, and it helps having the standing section and the ultras and that behind the goal, is they have a better view of it than we do side on. So when Boyle's clipped it, they've obviously seen that's a goal, and they've all gone fucking for the big jump about before it's actually crossed the line. You can, that's definitely. And it looked quite smart as well on the telly, having the standing section there for that goal. Anyway, Gaza said, very poor first half. Hoilett made the difference in the second half, and Boyle, when came on, have we found out why no Newell? Yes, we believe it's the hernia thing, as we mentioned earlier on. Brunswick Bill said, we have a bench where players can come on and improve the team. A reflection of improved recruitment. So we have been fairly critical of recruitment. Is this a reflection of the improved recruitment then, John?
I don't know if you could make the case that it's not. Like, the players that we brought in, like, there seems to be a little bit of deliberateness about it, and I'm almost thinking back to Ben Kinsell on LinkedIn when he was talking about trust the process, etc. Like, is this evidence of the process? I know, like, it's one game, like, it's one league win. We need to see more of that. However, if you can keep those guys fit, if you do have those options for the starting 11 coming off the bench, etc., then there's reasons to be optimistic, reasons to be cautiously optimistic.
Colin, what about you? What do you think?
I think I mentioned it already in another question. I think that we've got a better squad than we had before the window. We've still got a load of bodies to get rid of. Like, we've got a massive squad, but as they mentioned in the interviews last week, didn't they? It was mentioned a couple of times. So there's got to be a load of them leave. But I think we've got the basis there. I know bad team squad, maybe even, it's just that it's flooded at the moment still with loads of bodies. It is a pity about Bowie, isn't it? Because he would always replace probably McCurdy on that bench, and then you're looking on that's a fucking strong choices you've got there to bring on. Other than that, like if you've got Boyle on the bench, if you've got Hoilett or Youan on the bench, like the names already mentioned, the football on this, it's looking at a stronger squad. It does feel like we've had a decent window, really.
See where we were in January. That's where I'm with. It's like we've been bitten here before. At the moment, I'm relatively happy with it. Stephen McGowan said Youan is pish. There's an H in there. There's no H. It's not Youan. I think Youan's pish. I would disagree with Stephen there. I think Youan's a good player. He had a poor game, but I think he's a good player. Neil said Newell injury is a blessing in disguise. That's our best midfield. So, John, I suppose, like, because you had the benefit of seeing the full game, did the midfield look better, worse, or just the same, minus Joe Newell in it?
That's a really good question.
Malinikov behind the strikers.
Aye, he was the 10.
And you're saying if Newell's available, does Newell play there? Or does Newell replace Money Triantis or one? Because I would suggest he would be replacing one of the other two.
I don't. Oh God, it's a really.
Hey John, you didn't know he was injured and you never picked him, so you must think that's the best midfield.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point.
It's a reasonable shout. I think when I picked my midfield with Kwon and Triantis as a holding two, it was more to get. I think it was more to get Molotnikov playing in the 10, because I thought we needed a little bit of defensive mindedness in the midfield, but I think that we also were looking for a bit of creativity as well. So I was trying to find that balance in the team when I picked my lineup. But that comes from like a very limited point of football knowledge. It's not like David Gray, who's a career in football. However, I did also suggest last season when Montgomery was in charge that I thought that it was like for the midfield that he was potentially trying to build, or the midfield that I thought that he was trying to build, that someone like Joe Newell might find himself out of it, because I thought that I thought Montgomery was maybe looking for players with more stamina, players with a bit more speed about them, not necessarily the most technically gifted on the ball, and that's I think players that can get up and down, like simple as that. And I do think that Newell, however, is a good football player, but as who was it that said there about being a blessing in disguise?
Neil.
It might be because, as you say, Colin, like we've got two players there that are quite comfortable. It seems that quite comfortable playing alongside each other. There seems to be a bit of an understanding there. You've got Molotnikov that plays up front. I don't know that Newell's a number 10, but I don't know how you then take Saturday's lineup and try and get Joe Newell into it. Which is a weird scenario, because obviously it's the team captain that you would effectively be dropping.
Because he's the captain, he's got to struggle to drop him, right? But now there's no reason to. He's not in the team. He can play. So as for that point of view, it's a blessing in disguise. If it doesn't work, he comes back in, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think where you might see Newell is maybe where we play with a 10. Like if it's maybe Rangers or Celtic, a game where we're expected to have to do a bit more defending, and you need a bit more sort of solidity. So you'd have Kwon, Triantis. So obviously Kwon can't play against Celtic, but Kwon, Triantis and Newell, where we're expecting not to have much of the ball, where you're wanting to get people who can win it back. But in games like this, I think Newell struggles to get back into the team on current form. David said, just talk about these two things and nothing else. 1, 2 goals. 2, none conceded. GGTTH.
Yeah, we've done that. definitely covered that. I've tried to cover that because I agree with that.
Aye, it is. It came out. It's nice having just a podcast to talk about the football.
Right.
The other stuff. Michael said, "Will Newell get back in this team? Still play him as a 10. Powan and Shannon looks really comfortable together. DG got the game plan spot on today. Win the fight first, then bring on the game winners once it opens up." Well, we just kind of covered that. Gippy the Hippie. This is an interesting one. Does anybody know why there was no mention of Sol Bamba by the club today? First home game after his passing, and there was zero acknowledgement by the club. Very poor from those running the club. Well, he's obviously last week there was a minute's applause ahead of the Kilmarnock game. Should we have done something at home as well, or was one tribute enough?
Was it not? That was a tribute through Scottish football, wasn't it? Because he played in Scotland last week, two weeks ago. Everybody done it.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Every
2
team.
weeks ago, I don't know if they did, because Dunfermline did it on Friday night. They did it at home against Raith.
I thought we would have. I thought we would have done it at home, the next home game. But then I've no idea why. Is it like because it's 3 weeks ago now? Like after the international break in between? Don't know. But I expected there to be one.
I was surprised when we didn't, but then to be honest with you, I'd forgotten that we'd done it at the away game as well. So when somebody pointed out, it was like, I suppose if we've done it already, I mean, how many times do you do it? Like, yeah,
but you do loads of things that are not related to you. This is somebody who played for us. Like, if you do it, you should maybe do it at home because the away fans are the away fans are the away fans, but it's like a third they have at home, isn't it, or less? So I would have thought we would have done it for a home game because we would be doing it if it was fucking the King or something. You know what I mean? Like there'd be fucking millions of them.
Forced upon us, aye.
So you think you would do it for a former player? I don't know why.
John, do you have any views on
it? No, really. Like I understand the sentiments already, like that he's a former player, etc. I don't know if Hibs will maybe. This is me saying it. This isn't Hibs saying it, but I wonder if they'll maybe wrap that up in the thing they do at the end of the season. With regards to was it a minute's applause at the Kilmarnock game?
it?
I don't know how many times he's supposed to remember someone. I don't know. Like I don't know what the balance is because there is definitely you'll see it occasionally. I think on message boards on Twitter, etc. And when you're talking to other supporters, that they're a wee bit fed up with every minute's applause that comes by. So I don't know what the balance is because I think it is right that you remember former players, but I don't know how many times you're supposed to do it when until it's enough.
We've not done it. Like Kilmarnock done it.
Aye,
we were there. I think that would be the argument.
Again, I'm not the one that makes the decisions. I don't know or comes up with the ideas for these sorts of things. I don't know what the answer is.
I think it would have been. I don't think I'm annoyed that never did it, but I think it would have been a nice touch if they had. Like I would have preferred them to have done it than not.
Or how many minutes applause did they do during the game? What was his shirt number? 26 or something? In 26 minutes. I can't remember. I don't know where I came up with that. I don't know if that was his number, if I just made that up, but whatever his strip number was, do that. 10 minutes applause during the game. Like maybe the fans should organise it ourselves. They fucking did.
But I thought it would be happening. Stephen said about time. Bales said Junior is awesome. Lippy Hibby said good second half performance. Hoilett looks as if he could be a player, and Triantis again did well. We need to start games quicker though. On that point, somebody else mentioned it as well. How big an issue is it that we still, and it seems to be a trait of ours for a while now, we can't get a 90-minute performance at the team. It's like one good half, one shit half most weeks. How do we turn that around?
Well, now that we've got the full squad available, you hopefully start seeing that. Not that they were yesterday, but we're playing 45 minutes each for two players and that to get them fit still. So now that they're up and running, we'll hopefully start seeing. Does anybody play a full 90-minute performance? Or what we're talking is let's be for more than just
barely just a half, right? So you're not going to get 90 minutes of complete dominance, are you? But you can play well in
60 minutes
for the majority of both halves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I think the additions to the squad and the strengthening of the squad should bring. But then, like, let's not try and say we're going to get 90 minutes, because nobody does. There's always a 5-minute spell or a 10-minute spell that the opposition get.
I was just hyperbole, wasn't it? Like, I was just for easy understanding the fucking question, wasn't it?
I know, but this is what happens though. It's like we never play for 90 minutes. You're like, no, nobody does.
No, nobody does. I get that.
I think I'm comfortable that I think I'm comfortable that if we don't concede in a shite first 45 and we go on to win it in the second 45, I'm happy, because, like, to Colin's point about it's a 90-minute game. Like, it doesn't matter if you start. You could argue that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, you didn't win the game in the first couple of minutes of the game.
Yeah, I'm dead grumpy tonight. Eh? Like, I shouldn't go kill Walker before.
Get away and bust that blister.
I don't leave or fucking dig. Oh man, honestly.
I think you definitely rather have it that way around, the way the shite first half and the good second half, rather than have to get the good first half out the way and then sit through a shit second half and then go away with the sort of memory of it being shit. It's much better having it like it happened on Saturday, where you go,
do you remember
right that?
Do you remember games under, I think it was Pat Linen, where there was a spell where we'd go like 1 or 2-0 up in the first 10-15 minutes, and then it would be backs to the wall for the remaining 75. Like, yeah. I would much rather have a yesterday game than a Pat Linen game that I've described.
Aye. Right, we're about out of time, so we're just going to do the last couple of them on screen. So if you're one of these ones further down, I'm really sorry we're not getting to you. We've got Stephen Dowling said, should Boyle be used more as an impact sub? So we did talk about Boyle, whether or not he kept his place in the team. I think he's going to be out for a year now, getting a bit of treatment on his wrist, isn't he? So I'm not sure if he'll be back for the next game against Rangers, or if he's going to be out a wee bit longer than that. But was it right that he was dropped to the bench, and did we see him as an impact sub going forward? Go on.
I dropped him in my predicted team. I would leave him as an impact sub just now until his impact's that good that you're going to come when he start him again.
I don't know if it was so much about him. I don't know if he was being used as an impact sub or what he did in the role that he was playing when he was subbed on, because, like as you both described yourself, like previously it was ball to feet and have him trying to beat players, whereas actually where he's more effective is coming up the touchline, like off the shoulder, and when someone feeds the grass. That's going to be your new catchphrase, eh?
That's my goalies one. I like my goalies one. I've had a few off here, so I'm thinking folk like that one, so I'm going to stick with that one as well.
Jeff Ashton said, a typical game against the Levine team. 2-0 didn't flatter us. Could have been more. First half was attritional, but overran them second half. Hoilett, Boyle and Campbell made a difference. Big Marv was imperious, John. Kev B 1963 said, result papered over a poor performance. Second half better with Hoilett and Boyle on. Still trying to work out our style of play. Hopefully starts with Hoilett next game. He's got something about him. Done more in 10 minutes than Youan done all first half. And Baz said, thought the subs massively impacted the second half, which is good. Didn't look in any danger of losing the goal. The noise from Block 7 helps drown out the moaning. A great 3 points onwards and upwards. The style of play thing, I think we could just, we'll finish on that as the last thing. Do either of you see a style of play emerging, or does it still feel like we are, as Mikey Stewart would say, scrabbling around still to find our identity?
You know, I didn't care about that. Do you? Like, I don't. Like, he made such a big deal about it, and then we all started repeating it when it was Johnson that was a manager. And then we had a style of play last year. It was fucking shite. So, like, I'd maybe rather not have you, if that's what it means.
Good enough, John.
The same, I think. I'm trying to remember which manager it was applied to. I don't know if it was Mowbray or Collins. Might have been Collins. You know how his philosophy was the ball is round is meant to roll. It seems like it's something that's dogged Hibs, and I don't know whether it's dogged football in general. Like, every manager needs to have an ethos, a philosophy, a style or whatever.
Hey, fucking world, isn't it? It's all that.
Aye.
And I don't know, like, I think because we've gone through that many managers recently, like, I mean, we're still got a mishmash of identities and styles of play going on there. So we need to, I think we need to focus on getting rid of that one, or getting rid of the remnants of the last 5 years or so, and focus on what's in front of us and give what's in front of us the opportunity to flourish. There you go. How about that to end on?
That's a good place to end it. Right. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you don't already subscribe, please go and find us on Patreon and sign up. It's £3 a month, right? It's next to nothing. You get all our subscriber content. You get it ad free. So if you've watched this on YouTube and you've been bombarded by adverts, then you don't have to bother with that. And if you're listening on the podcast and you're getting adverts halfway through, you can remove them as well. You can go and sign up. And if you do it now, it'll put you in the draw for the competition, which we'll draw next week.
You were going to forget.
No. It was. Listen, it's up here, Colin.
No,
up here for for thinking and that.
That finger on the screen was like the big national lottery one.
Well, fucking it's you. Right, that's us. Thanks for your talking points. Tune in on Monday for extra time. I'm not sure what our topics yet will be, but we'll cover something interesting, I'm sure. And if you don't get us on Monday, get us on our phone in on Thursday. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.